All right, so today we read Genesis chapters 43 through 45. And in chapter 43, Joseph's brothers get back to their father and tell him what happened. And they tell him that they need to take Benjamin with them. Otherwise, they're not going to, be able to get any food, essentially. So their hands are kind of tied, and Jacob is very distraught about this. He seems to cling to Benjamin very tightly and doesn't want Benjamin to go anywhere, probably because of what happened to Joseph. And it doesn't, well, it does mention that, but does mention that he's worried that he's going to lose Benjamin like he lost Joseph. So it seems, things changed after Joseph disappeared, and there's a little bit of codependency going on between Benjamin and Jacob. So he finally agrees, sends Benjamin. Judah promises that he won't let anything happen to him and that he will protect him. And then they go and have dinner with Joseph, and it seems that, from all of the backstory here that's shared, that Joseph felt closest to Benjamin, so he was very emotional seeing him, and he keeps giving him more than the other brothers, so it's pretty clear that he's his favorite, and as happens a lot with the youngest, right? But he is his only full blood sibling, so they share the same mother and the same father, and the rest of his brothers are his half brothers. So very sweet. He has to go weep and then compose himself, and then it doesn't really say why he's being so harsh with them and not just telling them who he is, but if you think through, what they were saying to him before they sold him into slavery, you can kind of imagine that maybe he needed to make a point, or he felt a little maybe bitter about what happened, and that's why he was being so harsh with them. But he eventually, in chapter 45, tells them who he is. He can't take it anymore. He can't keep the charade going anymore, and he tells them who he is, and tells them to go get their father and all of their family and everything, and bring them to Egypt so that they can live, because the famine's going to last for another 5 years. So another 5 years, if they have to keep going back and forth to Egypt to get food, it's going to be very difficult for them to survive. So beautiful. It seems happy ending, I guess, to him getting reconciled with his brothers and going to get his family so that he can save them and sustain them. And then Joseph shares that he tells them that God sent him to Egypt on purpose so that he could save his family from the famine. So that was really beautiful and touching story, that Joseph now sees that God had a purpose and a plan when he, had him sold into slavery, and it was for their good, even though it was something that was extremely awful. So I feel like I can draw, parallels from that with my own life. Like, things that seemed really terrible were actually a blessing, and they were actually something that needed to happen in order for more goodness to come. So would love to hear what your thoughts are on the reading from today, what stood out to you, if you're inclined to comment. Thank you so much for joining. Looking forward to continuing our reading.